Hey there, welcome to Teaching Them. I'm Michael Keats and I'm going to bring you a lesson today. This one is short and sweet, very easy, and you can use this as an icebreaker for other lessons where you want to do a little more deeper Bible study, especially if you're going to tell a story about a character in the Bible who went through a difficult situation. This can be a fun way to introduce it. So the lesson is called Trust God When Things Look Bad. All right, trust God when things look bad. So here's what you'll need in order to do this lesson. You will need some kind of canning jar. So one that has the kind of lid that you can take the insert out of the middle and that has a screw top that goes right on top like that. You can use a tall one of these, a short one. Short one's what I happen to have. So need one of those, and then you need a piece of a screen. And the screen is like the one that's on your windows in most houses. So you just want to cut out, don't cut it out of your own personal window, but just go, they sell them at the hardware store in little bitty pieces. I would not get the sticky kind, the one that has a backing on it, because I found that the stickiness prevents this experiment from working. So just get one that's just regular screening that you can use to patch a window, and then cut it into like a 3x3 square. Then what you're going to do is, before the group gets there, you're going to put it on top of the jar, and then you're going to screw the lid on without the insert. So no insert there, so that from a distance it looks like there's just a hole in the top. Now, some of my screening is here around the edge, so you might want to take a pair of scissors and just kind of cut that off because it preserves some of the wow factor if they can't immediately figure out how to do it, although you're going to tell them before the lesson's over. And then the last two things you're going to need is you're going to need some water, so I have some standing by. And then you're going to need a piece of cardboard, a little 3x3 piece of cardboard. Just cut it out of one of your Amazon boxes or something like that. And that's to rest on top of this. So here's kind of how the lesson goes. I'll have the group and I'll say, hey, has everybody been good today? And I'll allow some responses. And I'll say, who thinks they've been super good? Like super, super good, better than anybody else in the room. And whoever's the most enthusiastic, call them up and let them come up. And say, now you said you've been really, really good today, right? Yeah, I've been really good. Do you think you've been so good that nothing bad could happen to you? See what they say? Say, for example, like if I were to flip this water upside down and hold it like this, and then put it over your head like this, do you feel like you would keep from getting wet? And then find out what they say. And say, well, who out in the audience thinks that I should remove the little piece of cardboard that's holding the water in? And of course, they're all going to say, yes, show us. So I can quickly take my hand away, and it'll actually, most times, it'll hold the cardboard in place. So that's a little bit of a wow factor. But then, for a little dramatic effect, I can even pull this away. Now, there's going to be a little bit of water that comes out. Just dump that to the side. But the amazing thing is that you can hold this water with the hole in the jar. You can hold it above their head and no water will come out. You say, oh, you must have been pretty good because look at that. Nothing bad happened. I guess you're trusting God pretty well that he's keeping you from bad stuff happening to you today. Is that true? And they may say, oh yeah, I'm doing really good. And then what you might do is just tip the jar a little bit. And then they're going to get wet. That's usually worth a laugh or two from the group. And then you can dismiss your volunteer. And then you can tell them, hey, here's how this works. So I did a little bit of a science experiment, and I put a screen like on your window over here. And when the water is inside, it fills up all the little holes in the screen, and that gives it surface tension. And so the surface tension holds it in. Also, when I'm holding the jar completely level, then no air can get in to replace water that would come out, so the water won't come out. But when I tip it, then air can get in through the side and then water will come out. And so that's kind of how the science works. The pressure of the air pushing up on it keeps the water in there because it doesn't have to have surface tension over the whole thing. The little screen holes give it a very small place for each water droplet to maintain surface tension, and that prevents it from spilling out. So very fun. You can use this. Oftentimes I'll pair this with Romans 8:28, and I'll say, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his name. I might use that, or I might use it for a lot of different biblical character studies. If I'm going to talk about Joseph and the difficult things that he went through, or if I'm going to talk about Ruth leaving Moab with her mother-in-law and how difficult that was, and how if you go through bad things, trust God because he can do the impossible. He can even make water not come out of an open jar. So that's pretty impossible, but look what happened. It's just a picture of the many things that God can do. So that's just, I use it a lot as kind of an icebreaker to open up the lesson, or I'll sometimes use it at summer camps. We have like morning challenges. And so this is a fun one where we give every kid a jar to play with and their own screen, and then they can play on each other. And especially in a hot Texas town where we do our camp, it's a great thing to relieve some of the heat. So that is Trust God When Things Look Bad. If you would like to print out the actual lesson, has the rhyme time, has the debrief questions on it, fully scripted for you, and it has some recommendations about what different Bible stories you can pair this with, go to www.teachingthem.org, www.teachingthem.org, and you can get the lesson there. Thanks a bunch. Have a great one. God bless you.